Okay, we should be live. Gotta make sure this is all working, and then we can get the show on the road. Audio sounds good. Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? How do we feel post-trade deadline? We're now officially in the second half of the regular season. Did you get my Bears trade? Which trade? Was that the trade with the 2 receivers? I definitely did that one. Oh, that trade! I did not. Okay, I'll do that real quick. I must have missed it. I know Nick wants to see his stats. I also have to show Tristan Wirfs in a Ravens jersey. It's this guy for Jalen Smith. Also, by the way, here's Mr. Wirfs. He has a actual face scan in Madden 23, I think, for what it's worth. If you saw your stats at the end of the last stream, just check back there, because obviously they haven't changed. But I'm showing Nick's because he wasn't here. Here's Mr. Russ with a 132 passer rating. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I can switch Dion's position real quick, although I made sure he is starting at left tackle, so that's where he's playing, but I can make that official change. And then we can get started with the game of the year, kind of, sort of. I don't think Pepper Jack was here at the end of the last stream, so I can show the Jag stats. But yeah, who's ready for Tim Robinson, the rookie out of Kansas, to face off against Hector Estrada? No, I don't want depth chart. What am I doing? How does it feel to have Hector? Put it this way. If you said at the beginning of the year that Hector Estrada would be on my team, I would say you're insane. But here we are. He's on my team, and he's my quarterback. And his first game as a Viking is against the team whom he won an MVP with last year, which is something. Let's check the other votes, because I don't remember which games were winning. I know a lot of them were pretty close. So the overall, there's no overall winner. We have a 3-way tie. Remember, we're watching one other game. Can you have Malik? It's past the trade deadline, so no, unless I cut him, which I'm not. But Malik is a free agent at the end of the year, and, well, considering I traded for a quarterback and drafted one last year, we're not going to pay him. So Malik will be available in free agency this offseason. But there are not 3 winners. There's 4 overall winners. And keep in mind, we're only watching one other game. So we've got the Tigers-Rams in Week 11, the Aviators-Dolphins in Week 12, the Giants-Niners in Week 13, and the Chiefs and Pioneers also in Week 13. So we'll be watching one of those other games with the Vikings and Toronto. Pay Hector and Malik. That sounds like a pretty bad idea. So we'll choose the other watched game now. So if you want to see the Tigers and Rams, type in Roar. If you want to watch Dolphins Aviators, type in Swim. If you want to watch Giants Niners, type in the letter L, because that's all the Niners get in watch games. And then if you want to watch Chiefs and Pioneers, type in West. So Tigers Rams is Roar. Aviators Dolphins is Swim. Giants Niners is, what was it? Lose? Something about losing. And Chiefs and Pioneers is West. Swim, L, swim, L, swim. So it seems like it'll be either Dolphins Aviators, who has 3 votes, and Giants Niners, who has 2. So we can always keep it open until after our game. We can start with our game and go from there. How did Tigers and Wizards not crush everything else? That is honestly kind of the good question. I mean, Week 13 is a pretty good slate. I'm surprised that game got 4th place, though. Another vote for Swim from Pokemon, so now we're at 4-2. We've watched the Giants and Niners, I think, once each this year. We've watched the Aviators, I believe, once. And we also simcasted the end of the game against the Bears. So I guess that's like 1.5. And the Dolphins we have not watched at all this year. As for the other games in the running, have we watched the Pioneers once this year? I don't think so. We haven't watched the Chiefs. And then for the Tigers-Rams game, I don't believe we've watched either of those two. Did we watch the Niners twice? I thought it was once. I thought it was only against... Oh, yeah, against Carolina. You're right. We watched the Niners twice. They lost to Carolina, and they lost to us. I forgot about the Carolina game. Dear God, did not watch the Ravens. Well, the Ravens did not win any of the votes. We will be simcasting a different game for Week 14, though. Which there's a 3-way tie with the Rams, Bison, Aviators, Browns, and Beats, Panthers. So I guess we can decide that when we get to Week 14. But yeah, let's start with our game. Siri, give me a number between 1 and 2. 2. I actually have no idea who's home. I didn't put it on the poll, so I don't know. Is it Toronto? I think it's Toronto. Yeah, it's Toronto. So Hector's coming back into Toronto to play against the team whom he won an MVP with last year. I don't think Hector's here at the moment, so we can pick his jerseys. You guys want them to wear gray or white? Doesn't really matter, because I think we'll probably wear purple regardless. We did the color rush and the throwback, so we'll just do the regular home jerseys. Echo. I'm stupid. There we go. You guys don't like the Echo? White. I feel like we see them mostly in gray, so I kind of want to see white too. And I think the white jerseys look nice with the blue helmets and the blue pants. Some of the away jerseys for the relocation teams are horrible, but these are not one of them. These are actually pretty nice. So, seems like most of us want white, which I agree with. And it's Sunday Night Football to add to it as well. Talk about the ultimate revenge game. Here is Tim Robinson, the rookie out of Kansas. Has Kansas ever had a quarterback in the NFL? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Well, now they have one in the OFL as he's taking on the man who was once ahead of him on his Toronto depth chart. Hector Estrada Jr., who's been the starter in Toronto for, 2.5 seasons, won an MVP last year, probably won't win an MVP this year, but he'll certainly be in the running, assuming he keeps up this pace. But now he is on the rival, the Minnesota Vikings. In my opinion, the biggest rivalry in OFL 22, with probably the most relevant user player in OFL 22 joining the rival and being traded away by the coach who created him in the first place. Hector's had a great season this year of Toronto. I switched my offensive playbook from the Saints to the Chiefs because that's what the Huskies were running, just to make sure Hector can have his same playbook and just so he can be, good. We seriously have to watch Tim Robinson in a game. We've never seen Tim Robinson, so for all we know, he might be pretty good. And if not, that implies that we'll probably win today, so I'm good either way. Hector's first pass as a Viking goes for a first down. It's really happening. Hector Estrada is a Viking. I still can't believe this is real. Poor Malik Willis isn't even the backup. He's like the water boy. He's on the scout team. He went from the starter 3 weeks ago to the scout team. Look at him, Najee go. What a run. Unfortunately, Hector does not have Mike Evans anymore, but he has Terry McLaurin, Henry Ruggs, Rashad Bateman, Michael Pittman, Najee Harris. The biggest rivalry is actually the Browns defenders actually covering people. Okay, then this is the second biggest rivalry in OFL 22. Who doesn't love Najee? Najee is like such a wholesome dude. Hector joined the criminal squad. Is Hector a criminal by chance? I mean, we're letting go of Malik essentially, who's also a very wholesome guy. So the team character as a whole, I guess, has gone down. Go for it. We're at the 4. Oh, dear. Henry Ruggs is hurt. Great. Our whole receiving corps has been hurt this year. McLaurin missed time. Bateman missed time. Now Ruggs is injured. And Ruggs played unbelievably well in the Niner game last week, and now he is done for the day. Don't punt. Good. Go for it. Run it up the middle. We're using a new playbook. Maybe we'll finally how to run in short yardage situations. Oh my lord, we actually converted a short yardage run. I do not believe it. Maybe the best thing about the Hector trade isn't even adding him, but it's changing the playbook. Maybe that's what we needed to do all along. Hector is actually part of the cartel. Well, in that case, then I guess we added another criminal to the roster. The more the merrier. Hector now looking for the end zone. That is very obviously overthrown. Second biggest rivalry is the Tigers and winning a playoff game. Poor Tigers. Every year. They've made it every year. Has Jax ever missed the playoffs as an OFL coach? I honestly don't think he has. That's kind of insane. He's been here since, what, early OFL 21? I don't think he missed it last year when he was the Caps. And he hasn't missed it this year with the Tigers, and he's not going to miss it here in Season 4 because the Tigers are like 7-2. The real biggest rivalry is the Niners and their ex-quarterback. So pretty much the Niners' biggest rivalry is like half of the league. I can already see Malik Willis starting for the Niners next year. I can already see it. That's a fumble? It looked like he was throwing. I don't think they're going to review it, but it kind of looked like he was in the motion of throwing. So, I don't know about that call, Chief. Nonetheless, the Vikings turn it over in the red zone. Not a great start for Hector against his old team. As we look at the new quarterback in Toronto, Tim Robinson, Rock Chalk Jayhawk. Yeah, they're not reviewing it. I wasn't expecting them to, but he was kind of obviously throwing in a throwing motion. If Minnesota wins, that'll be 3 in a row. I know we have our bye week at some point during the stream today. Probably week 12, I would think. Because that seems like probably when the buys would be done. So far, so good for the defense. Should have traded Evans. I don't think Robinson can get it. It's early. We still got to see what he can do. But he's done a lot of dink and dunk so far. 49ers bye week is week 14. Holy hell. Madden usually has like 3/4 of the league have their bye week by like week 9. It's so weird. There are rarely late buys in Madden. Although we have obviously a late buy this year, considering we haven't had one yet. So the offense quickly returns. The last drive was promising until the fumble. Haven't seen Hector take many shots downfield. He was very aggressive in Toronto. And since we're using the exact same playbook, there's obviously no excuse for him not to be here. And he is sacked again by Sapp. Now it's 3rd and long. The offensive line's been pretty bad so far. Another incompletion. Okay. If the Vikings lose this game, I'm going to log. Yeah, you're going to have fun logging at us. Wasn't our last stream was Monday, 2 days ago. It's only 2 drives. You know, growing pains might happen. It's early. We'll see what Tim Robinson can do on his second possession. Okay, that was a pretty good throw. And horrible coverage as well by 13. That better not... Oh, that's Marcus Peters. I was going to say, if that's Q Blue Kelly, that would not be good because he was part of the trade. Still don't know why Hector didn't ask for Malik or Jack. It's because he believes in Tim Robinson and Jacoby Brissett. Hector, the whole reason why he traded Hector in the first place is because he likes his backups, I assume. If I was him, I would have tried to get Jack, or at the bare minimum Malik, but he likes his backups. Nice hit. But he's been very vocal about his belief with Brissett and Tim Robinson, who, of course, is the starter. Mike Evans drops it. If Hector was throwing that pass, he wouldn't have dropped it. Do I need to sign Mike Evans in the offseason, too? I mean, I have McLaurin, and I'm pretty sure I have to pay Henry Ruggs, too. So, if we don't pay him, then, I don't know, maybe we bring Mike Evans to town. Just got here. What did you miss? You have not missed too much. This is the first game of the day, and there haven't been any points scored yet in Hector's Viking debut against his old team. He's 6 for 10, but he only has 37 yards. He hasn't been very aggressive so far. I want to see him take a shot downfield this drive. It'd be a little bit easier to do that with a guy like Henry Ruggs on the field, but even so, Terry McLaurin and Terry McLaurin and Rashad Bateman can, you know, go downfield. Same with Pittman. Flag. DPI, please? Yes, automatic first down for the Vikings. It's Desmond King. I never really noticed this until now, but Hector's throwing motion is kind of awkward. I never noticed it when he was in Toronto, but looks kind of weird here. I mean, I guess it does the job. Here's a nice little jet sweep. I think that's Bateman. Is that Chiefs-Wizards? That is Chiefs-Wizards, but that game didn't win the vote. Although that would have been a fun game to watch. That game placed in second. Anytime I see Najee, I think he's Nick Chubb for a second. Well, I guess they're both built similarly in the sense that they're, you know, big, strong power backs. Najee's cooking today. He's been really good so far. Now that we have a real quarterback who apparently can't throw the ball is when the run game finally starts to work. Probably the last play of the first quarter. Minnesota's back in the red zone. What does Hector have up his sleeve? He has nothing because he's not going to run a play. No score so far. I feel blah about Hector's start. I mean, 25 passing yards on 10 pass plays isn't what I would call good. So, it's only one quarter. At least Najee's balling out. He has like more rushing yards than he did last week. How bad is the Broncos? I think they're maybe a game or two under 500, I think. I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head. Hector was sent to Minnesota to tank their season, and then he re-signs with Toronto in the offseason. Well, not if he's my top franchise tag person, which if a lot of guys decline, I don't know who my number one tag would go to. It probably wouldn't go to Hector because we have Jack Jackson. So it would almost make more sense to just use that on like Myles Garrett or Najee Harris. And apparently Hector wants more money since he got traded. I don't know why. He was only asking for around $53 million total with Toronto. And now that he's here, he wants like 70 mil. I don't know why. Nice touchdown for Hakeem Butler. OFL 20 legend. Our king. Have so many people got to resign. I'm nervous. Everybody has a lot of guys to resign, though. So even if you aren't able to bring some of your guys back, that's going to be probably everybody. So free agency is going to be so loaded that you're going to have plenty of options in the open market. So, yeah, every team has a lot of guys they got to pay, and it looks really intimidating. But once you see who's probably going to be available in free agency, if you have cap flexibility, then you'll be able to get some guys. The defense, for the most part, has been quite good today after they were not the best the past couple of weeks where they just refused to cover running backs. Maybe I spoke too soon. Well, the issue is that you don't have flexibility. Did you check how much projected money you're supposed to have? Because in the little video I made on Monday where I showed everybody who they need to re-sign, I clicked on the top player for each team just so you can see how much cap space you're probably going to have in the offseason. So every team is projected to have a lot of money, at least to start the offseason. Obviously, as you re-sign guys, that number is going to go down. But everybody, even the Beats, who were broke going into this offseason, even they're projected to have like $100+ million, I think. Some teams had like plus 200. Ooh, that should have been intercepted. Some teams have like over 200, which seems like a lot, but some of those teams might have more guys to re-sign, and obviously that's going to add up as you're paying guys. It seems like a lot until it's not. I think we were actually towards the bottom in terms of projected cap space, which is not the most ideal. But I do have quite a few players under long-term deals, so I guess that could be why. 3rd and 10. Toronto's close to field goal range. They're right on the cusp. Robinson off his back foot, tipped, and caught for a touchdown by Mike Evans. Talk about a first career touchdown pass. Booth review, please. Please. That's not a good angle. 1. Yeah, he's good. He got 2. He definitely got 2. He's in. That's unfortunate. Mike Evans makes every quarterback look good. Hector's overrated. I mean, Terry McLaurin kind of does... Well, I guess Terry McLaurin's always had bad quarterbacks, at least in real life, but... I mean, he's not much worse. He's better in the sim. Probably not as good in watch games. So it looks like Toronto's going to make this a game. Tied at 7. Got to see the offense respond. Need some more vertical passing from Hector. OFL 20, Mike Evans might honestly be the greatest wide receiver in OFL history. He might not even be the greatest wide receiver on that team. Wasn't Curtis Samuel like a cheat code? At least he's getting the ball out quick, even if he's not doing anything downfield. He certainly looks a little bit more comfortable than he did at the start of the game, which is good. Need Mike Evans and Lattimore on the same team. That'd be gold. Who is Marshawn Lattimore again? I think the Tigers do. Beautiful throw, maybe his best of the day. Over to Pittman again. Who's had the best OFL quarterback season's history? Because Russ could be there at the end of the season. I remember there was one year last year where Smirnoff and Burrow both like equally deserved the MVP because they were just like so good. They were like Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, but for the OFL. I don't know if there's been any better, but Russ is certainly making his way towards the discussion as long as he keeps this up, which he has not shown any signs of slowing down. Third and 4. Let's get 6 here and not 3. Why is your OFL service? So Denmark's not the only one having those issues. Sometimes Discord's just weird like that, so I wouldn't really worry about it. Nice throw in the end zone for Rashad Bateman. That's a touchdown. And so Minnesota's back up. People talk about the 131 passer rating, but his touchdown to interception ratio is even more insane. I would say they're both pretty much equally insane. I mean, 30-1 is wild. 131 is also wild. So, long story short, if he keeps up this pace, he is unanimously winning the MVP. Unless people are biased and vote for their own players, which I don't have any rules against that. It's a shame Russ's defensive coordinator is still going to find a way to blow it in the divisional round. Wonder who intercepted Russ. Imagine if it was Malcolm Butler. I don't think Malcolm Butler's in the game. But if he was, that would be ironic. I mean, we could probably figure that out if we check Russ's game-by-game splits. Okay, Tim Robinson's kind of dotting this up right now. Russ has not thrown an interception since week 1. That's pretty impressive. I was like Jalen Hurts in the Titan series. He has thrown 3 interceptions all year going into our game, and they were all in the same week. It was so weird. Why are we just not covering Mike Evans? That's not the smartest idea. Although I've got to say, Tim Robinson's been better than I would have expected. For what, like a 66 overall? He's actually been pretty good. 16 seconds. Toronto is out of timeouts. Run a screen here. You won't. Ooh, that would have been such a big sack. Did he get both in? He did. So Toronto's going to tie the game here at the end of the half. It's Irv Smith with the touchdown. 14-14. Tim Robinson came to play. Tim Robinson or Elijah Chisholm? I mean, rookie Chisholm probably takes the cake. Although we've only seen one half of Robinson. It's too early to say that. But based on what Chisholm's done the past 2 years, yeah, give me Timmy. Because rookie Chisholm was good, and then year 3, pretty much, he just kind of fell off the face of the earth. All right, so that'll end the first half, 14-14. Did you see my GM? I will check it real quick. 1 run, 0 rushing yards for Toronto. They really don't trust Trey Sermon, do they? Okay, we don't need to see this EA. Cool, the Beats play the Saints. Woohoo. Can we move on here? Nope, I guess EA is going to show us a whole halftime report. That means we get to see Bears at least. Who doesn't love a good old-fashioned Bears? And then here's the whole schedule, if anyone wants to peek. A lot of fun games. This was one of the funner slates of the year, Week 11. Okay, can we move on? All right, thank you, EA. Why does it keep showing us highlights? EA, you're being slow. Okay, there we go. EA stays hating, I guess. What even is a Trey Sermon anyway? Ooh, that should have been picked. Jair is in the zone. That's good. He should be on Mike Evans, though. Which is better, EA or 2K? Probably 2K. Doesn't really say a whole lot, though. Hector dancing in the pocket. Goes short for Mike Evans. He breaks the tackle. Yeah, we gotta make that play. Can't let him get the first down that easily. When is EA not being slow? Probably never. When is next OFL? Like after today? I don't know. Probably early next week. The OFL Vikings have hired Joe Woods as their defensive coordinator. God help us all. There's 66, Tim Robinson in action with the incompletion. Although some quarterbacks are just programmed to do better in Madden Sim. Maybe Timbo here is one of those guys. Oh, next OFL is in OFL 23. Well, we have a season and a half left to go here. So, realistically, like 2 months maybe? So probably November, December, in that ballpark. Similarly to when we started this year, not counting the fantasy draft like breaking and me spending a month redoing it. That was fun. You guys remember that? When the fantasy draft didn't save it and I had to redo the whole thing? Third and 5, a strike inside the 10. They're moving. Oh, dear. Can we please not lose the Hector revenge game? I'm sure that was fun. It was. It was thrillingly fun. If we didn't have to wait for me to redo it, it probably... Yeah, we would be a lot closer to it being over. But EA screwed us because Madden franchise just stopped working. Remember, I had to restart the whole Eagles franchise save as well, like a season and a half in. So I had to do that, along with restarting all of OFL, which... It was a process, put it that way. Alexander Madison, I think that is, putting them ahead. Octi is doing a 12-hour stream on Christmas because he has never seen Santa Claus delivering the presents. Imagine if I did the 12-hour stream on Christmas. I mean, I guess there are parts of the day where people are, like, available. Did I ever figure out why EA broke? I I mean, I don't know if there is a reason why it broke, but EA's game, I guess, is just buggy. I don't know. I guess that'd be the reason. How did I So I restarted the whole thing. I force won and lost all of the games across the league for Season 1. I made as many of the same moves around the league that I could. I redid the draft, and then I tried to get Season 2 as similar as I could, although it was a little bit hard because it was like halfway through the season, and the Season 2 schedule was like a completely different order of games. So it was not pretty, but I was able to make do. Here's Hector launching a bomb. Of course, it's double coverage, but it doesn't matter because Michael Pittman is him. Michael Pitt him. That's what we're calling him from now on. The OKC Bisons have agreed to... Wouldn't it be relocate to Tennessee? Oh, of course Michael Pittman's hurt. 5 seconds after he bosses 2 defenders. What amazing timing. And he's out through the game. Great. So we're without Pittman. We're without Ruggs. Literally every receiver of ours this year has gotten injured. We do have good depth at tight end. Ooh, nice catch. Is he in? He is. That's scary. Terry McLaurin, who ties it at 21. They are reviewing. Let's see if he got both feet in. Oh, clear as day. Yeah, he's in. Yeah, he got them both down at the same time. Imagine if we can pick the schedule. I'd pick the Seahawks 17 games. We would all pick the Seahawks 17 games. Swift's status went to question. He'll be fine. Apparently, he's better now than he was this time last week. And obviously, he played on Sunday, and he was damn good. So, I wouldn't worry. He got the day off today. He'll be fine. Nearly chose to become Tennessee to make them the Houston Oilers. That would have been fun to have the Oilers. I'm surprised nobody became the Oilers in the 2 years that we've done relocations. I mean, I guess if we do OFL 23 on Madden 23 and relocations are back, somebody will probably pick them. Maybe me. Who knows? Both offenses looked like garbage the first quarter, and now they're both like on fire. Lamar limited at practice. I saw a picture of him in like a sleeve. Seems like he'll probably be fine too. Is your player going to be in this draft? I mean, if you've made him already, then yeah, he'll be good for this year's class, which will be the final draft for OFL 22 before we get to the new game, whatever game that may be. Robinson launches a prayer. Jesus Christ. Why is Mike Evans so good? Please be a hold. Please. Roughing the passer. Woohoo. Can we, like, just start covering, like, triple covering Mike Evans? That might be the only way to not, like, have him do stuff like that. If you do retro... Well, we're not doing it on Retro Bowl. It would be an old Madden. I don't know how we do an OFL on Retro Bowl. That'd be something. But, yeah, if I ever figure out how to stream with my computer, we'd probably do Madden 12. Maybe we'd consider a game like Madden 16. Madden 15 if we wanted to do a little bit more recent. We could always do Madden 20 on the PS4 with older rosters. Hell, there might be old rosters on Madden 23, too, if we want to do that. Just put all 11 men on Mike Evans. Honestly, at this point, we should. That could have been picked. That was dangerous. You could do mods. I mean, I'm sure it'd be easy to download a roster here for one of the games I already have. I don't know how easy it would be to pull off a mod on, like, my computer. If college football revamp doesn't work, then I don't know if a Madden mod will work. God damn, what a throw. Hector has looked really good since the first quarter. Imagine if we did 20 with base roster. I mean, that's not a horrible idea. We could stick with the current rosters, or we could always do a fantasy draft again. So we've got a lot of choices. How do you lose to Tim Robinson? That's a good question. Apparently Tim Robinson's kind of good, though. Or at least he's been good today. So is Najee. Is he in? Not quite, but close. OFL 20 was a version of OFL. Wish you guys were there to see the magic. I honestly think OFL 22, nice touchdown by Najee. I think OFL 22 is the clear second place, though. I think the gameplay in this game has been not far off from Madden 20. I think Madden 20 is king of the OFLs, but OFL 22 is not far back. This has been a really fun year, particularly the past season or two. We've had so many crazy games within the past season and a half. Really, since season 3 started, we've had wild endings. Did you win? It's tied. Tim Robinson is a baller. See the magic of B-Wags forcing a fumble every other drive. Along with Luke Kuechly and Harrison Smith, who, both were on my team. I don't know if there was a game in OFL 20 that matched Wizards Chiefs, though. That might be the greatest OFL game I've ever seen. Maybe my first OFL Bowl win, that game was pretty drunk. But are his stats good? He has 3 or 4 touchdowns. Mike Evans has been a machine. Yeah, Robinson, 24 of 33, 328, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Hector has also been very good. He as well has 3 touchdowns. So they've both been pretty even. So Tim Robinson is in fact him and will be a future Niner. Rams should be watched. The Rams, they tied the vote, but they didn't do all that well in the tiebreaker for week 11. Tim Robinson, in fact, does have that dog in him. Not on this drive, though. Good stop by the defense. It appears the defense has finally woken up again. Trey Lance is the 49er for the future unless he doesn't agree to a contract. Yeah, I'm going to take a wild bet and say Trey Lance is not the future because it is supposed to remain a quarterback factory. Nicolator says that, and next year Jack Jackson or Malik Willis is going to play there. I can already see it. How is your new secondary done? They started off really well, but they have cooled off quite a bit. Imagine Lance agreed and then the first week of the season, injured, boom. And I guess it's Justin Fields' time. That was a throw. Third and 2 might be the biggest play of the game so far. Are we going to run the ball? We are. And we don't get it. Or did we? No, yeah. It didn't look like we got it. So I guess the days of us not being able to run in short yardage situations have not gone anywhere. Did you catch that Justin Fields is asking for $20 million a year to ride a bench? Yeah, no one in their right mind's giving him that money. Is Mike Evans the best watched game wide receiver in OFL history? Probably. I don't know who else it would be. From his time with the Cardinals and his time here with the Huskies, I feel like it has to be Mike Evans. Who else from our trade has done good? I haven't really noticed anybody else. I mean, I'm watching this game in our perspective, so I mean, I'm not specifically paying attention to your players. Alexander Madison's gotten the ball like twice, so he can't really be cheeks. Ooh, we're challenging him. It didn't look like he got his feet in initially. Yeah, he might not have even gotten one in. Definitely didn't get two. Yeah, this play should be reversed. And it is. Good. And, of course, Tim Robinson does that the very next play, so I guess our challenge doesn't really matter. Low-key hope we do normal Madden 23 because there are so many players I want. Can't disagree. I mean, I think regardless of what iteration of OFL we do, it'll be fun. What is good, Jax? Welcome in. Jimmy Jackson, you're cut. Yeet. Is Tim Robinson the best Huskies quarterback ever? If he wins this game, then he might just be. It's the OFL. How could it not be fun? True that. Mr. Rob, in fact, knows ball. We had the worst. Vikings are bad. We are horrific. I mean, our secondary's been bad today, but on paper they're not horrific. I mean, I would say Jair Alexander's pretty good at football. I do like the contract thing with the fantasy drafts in Madden 23. I think it'll give us a lot more variety, and it's not just all the really good players are free agents at the end, and the free agency classes are actually going to be pretty good right off the bat. See the little storyline I had of Hector telling Tim that this is his team now? I did not, but I guess it is Tim's team. Sorry, Hector. I think Hector is winning this game. Which one? Ooh, what a punt! Down at the 9. Is that Braden Mann? No, it's Bradley Pinion. Pinning him deep. Can't wait to be gassing Russ up since the season to start, only for him to throw 4 picks. That'd be funny. Not sure how free agency works, so if we do Madden 23, that's funny. If we do choose Madden 23, I would obviously do free agency a little bit differently. Who is Hector rooting for? Both teams. That's not how a rivalry is supposed to work. That's like, I don't know, if C.J. Stroud transferred to Michigan and Ohio State fans were rooting for both teams. How bad has my team been doing? Well, you haven't lost a game today because this is the first game. But I think you guys are, what, 3-6? We're at the 2-minute warning. Can Hector finish off the job to beat Hector? Or will Hector get the win against Hector? I don't think Tim Robinson has really ran it today, but he's been damn good as a passer. C.J. Stroud in a Michigan uniform. Yuck. Well, that's the first one I could think of. What about Aaron Rodgers in a Bears jersey? Although that's not really a rivalry. That's pretty one-sided. Although I guess Ohio State and Michigan is also pretty one-sided, other than last year. C.J. Stroud transferred to Oregon, but the Ducks are playing DJ. Yeah, I guess in that case I would root for my team to win, but I would also root for DJ to do well for the agenda. I feel like the Vikings and Shamrocks have been watching every stream. Well, I've already made a pledge not to put the Vikings on the poll the rest of the year, other than maybe Week 18 if we have a really good game. But we could not miss this game. And last week you guys picked our game twice, so shouldn't have voted for us, I guess. I don't know. Nick Foles in a Cowboys jersey. Dear God. Now just visualize Stroud in a Michigan jersey, and I'm crapping and vomiting uncomfortably. All right, the Huskies out of timeouts. We should be good here. Just keep running it. Don't do anything stupid. Don't throw the ball. All right, Najee's going to take the touchdown. So we're not going to get a game-winning field goal. We do take the lead by 7. But now Tim Robinson gets to come back and do some damage. We left the door open for Toronto to tie it. That's a Browns move. I mean, it's kind of similar to what Nick Chubb did. And it's funny because Nick Chubb last year, there was a situation where he could have scored and end the game, and he didn't. He on purposely didn't score. And I think people got mad at him. So this year, I guess he chose to score, and it costed them the game. Hector is playing his Tannehill role very well. Hector has 3 touchdowns today. He's been nice. He has not been Ryan Tannehill today. Neither is Tim Robinson, though. Although Tim Robinson hasn't had a great running back to hand the ball off to. Why is Mike Evans in the backfield? That was weird. Najee is him, as there's a deep drive. Holy, it's Tim Robinson. He is Houdini. They have 12 seconds. They got to run a Hail Mary. You know, if there's any receiver I'd want in this situation, it's probably Mike Evans. So, I'm slightly terrified. Does Tim even have to... Oh, my God, Mike Evans caught it. And that's going to cost them the game. He should have not caught it. He should have let that go out of bounds, drop that, and stop the clock so they can run another play. I don't know if Tim Robinson is the arm strength or the Hail Mary. I think that's the problem. So the Vikings win the Hector revenge game, although if you're Toronto, I don't think you can feel too upset. You see a game of Tim Robinson, and, well, he can ball. Tim Robinson is him. Both quarterbacks played very well. Hopefully Hector can keep it up. Najee was a beast. Tim Robinson is cut. Mike Evans was a beast. I'll take Tim. Michael Pittman was very good before he got injured. Henry Ruggs also got hurt. That's 6. Oh, my Lord. Look at the pancakes. Good work, offensive line. We didn't get any sacks, though. All right, so before we sim the week, I decided to do a bonus Simcast game. I did not put this game on the poll, but there's another game I wanted to go over. Who's ready for part 2 of this disaster class? Siri, give me a number between 1 and 2. 2. All right, we'll use her Seattle. The tank bowl of all tank bowls. The last time we saw these teams play, it was interesting. Seattle won. Their only win of the season. Since then, Arizona has added a W to the win column. Loser of this game will certainly be the... Where did I put my other control? Oh, I plugged it in. Loser of this game will certainly be the favorite for the number 1 pick. Guess who loses? Winner gets an extra point and Nocti server pick'ems. I think Arizona's bad, but I think Seattle's horrible. I'm going to pick the Cardinals to get revenge, so... In that case, my answer is Seattle loses. Although Kyler here wants close to $300 million, yet he's got all the young quarterbacks asking for cheap. Like, Matt Corral wants, like, 36 over 4 years. Kyler wants 36 a year. Denmark appears out from the shed. Need it. Hoping Seattle wins so we can get an active coach with the number 1 pick. I mean, this game won't determine who gets the #1 pick, but based on how these teams have played, it's certainly possible. Cardinals up 7-3. Now they're up 14-3. Oh, Seattle with 2 quick touchdowns. Wow, this game's good. If it's close, we'll hop in late, which it's looking kind of close. Okay, we're going to go a little bit slower. Third and 8. They got it. If Seattle scores, we're going to hop in. All right, let's do it. Will it be as odd as the last time these two teams played, where the Cardinals literally threw the game? Also, shout out Seattle for scoring 31 points, considering they averaged like 13 throughout the season. Although I guess Arizona's defense isn't the best. Guess he doesn't have to pay Dan. Nick doesn't have to pay Dan. I guess that's true. Gonna delete my message saying I agree to the trade. Well, that certainly doesn't work if the trade's already been processed. Oh, look at Trayvon Smith go! He's fast! Sliding all the way at the 44. This is definitely the most Seattle scored in a game. This is like doubling their highest total. Remember when Denmark's team was decent? I do. Now they have Mr. 15 awareness himself, Trayvon Smith, who can move. He's got wheels. I know his speed rating is pretty high. I don't remember the number off the top of my head. What's Tim Robinson's dev? He is normal. Trayvon's numbers for the day aren't horrible. I wouldn't say they're great, but they're not too bad. 28 of 38, a touchdown and a pick. Tim Robinson is cheeks. He had 400 yards and carried your offense. I don't know if I take carried. Mike Evans also carried too. What's Tim Robinson's throw power? That's the real question. Oh, that's a throw into the hands of Javon Baker for the lead at the 2-minute warning. What a dot. Good footwork, good throw, good everything. Trayvon Smith, 3 for 3, 33 yards. Illuminati confirmed. All right, 2-minute warning. Looks like we got another thriller between these two heavyweights at the NFC West. Two real playoff contenders right here, guys. Real good teams. Denmark secretly laughing in his shed after knowing how good his defense is, allowing 31 points to maybe the worst offense I've ever seen in my life. Although Kyler has 4 touchdowns today, matching what probably is his entire season's total. Kyler is quite tiny. The guy literally waddles around like a preschooler. Like when he's like dancing around outside the pocket. Need this game in the playoffs. Well, lucky for you, these two teams are right at the top of their division. And if the top is about losing, then that's where they would be. NFC Championship preview. No, I think all 30 other teams are going to forfeit, and this is going to be our OFL Bowl. I mean, Seattle's won 2 of them. Who said they can't win a third? Are we officially out of play? You guys are over 500. Or no, now you're 500. But no, you're 5-5. You're like on the edge of a wild card spot. I don't think anybody's out of playoff contention, and that includes these two teams, if you can even call them that. What was that? Okay, that was a throw. Not too far away from field goal range. Probably got it. I know the marker's about 10 yards away, but realistically they need about 15. They got to call another timeout. Yeah, good call. 3rd and 4 from the 42. What does Mr. Tiny Legs have up his sleeve? Okay, good throw. Keeping the drive going. Whoever wins is winning out and getting the last wild card spot. That'd be gold. Ooh, nearly intercepted to win the game. Seattle should go for a Hail Mary. There's 32 seconds left. They don't need to rush it. Although I guess Hail Marys have a pretty high track record in OFL 22, but still, a little bit early. Do they call the other timeout here? Nope. They still got it in their back pocket. What's going on, Denmark? You came at a pretty good time. Your defense just choked against the Seahawks. No one saw your same... He has the same amount of touchdowns as his shoe size. That's funny. I see it now. So Arizona has 11 seconds. Can Trayvon Smith launch a game-winning Hail Mary? Imagine losing to Seattle. Twice. This is Seattle's OFL Bowl. This is their 3rd OFL Bowl championship. They've won 2 actual championships, and they've won the Tank Bowl. I don't want to live. Well, isn't this good? Shouldn't you guys want to lose and get the top pick? I love how everybody's like crowning the Cardinals as the team with the #1 pick when we're in week 11. What was that? What was that? Okay then. That was a throw to end the game. Sure. Seattle wins 38-34. Was that the score, I think? Kyler with 5 touchdowns. He was very good. Junior Ross with over 100 yards. Keenan Allen also very good. Trayvon Smith, 15 awareness. That looks like more like negative 15 awareness on that last play. Malik Willis, you are an Arizona Cardinal. That'd be funny. After all the stuff Denmark has said about him, that would be poetic justice. All right, it's sim time. Here we go. Dublin. More like Dub lose. They lose to the Dolphins 31-14. So the Shamrocks are back on their little win streak. Or their losing streak. I'm stupid. Aaron Rodgers was good. This is week 11. Spencer Tuck, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. That's something. 2 sacks for Carl Lawson and Derek Nottie. The Tigers. Oh, wow, look at the Rams. The Rams appear to be legit. They beat Chicago by 11. DJ Uiagalelei was very impressive, outperforming his former Clemson teammate, Trevor Lawrence. Malik Willis will be a Niner. I'm 100% with you. He is born to play for the San Francisco 49ers. It's happening. Zadarius Smith, 2 sacks. Miles Jack with the interception. We must put in Sam Hartman. Okay. The Wizards. What is happening in Orlando? The Wizards have lost 3 in a row. The Chiefs beat them again, just like in the playoffs last year. I feel like every revenge game this year, the team looking for revenge lost, except for Hector. That's like the only revenge game win. Every playoff rematch has gone to the team who won last year in the playoffs. Savell Smalls, 2 interceptions. That's pretty impressive for a pass rusher. The Columbus Aviators with a nice win over Detroit, 28-7. Matt Corral was pretty good. Deshaun Watson was not pretty good. You love to see it. DJ's still mid. DJ's team is first place in the division. I don't think he's mid. And if what you're saying is true about you guys are losing, they're now a good old game and a half in first place. The Giants beat the Bats 35-17. Macaroni and cheese with 3 touchdowns. When is Saquon coming back? Isn't that supposed to be soon? Can't have audio. Someone in chat say what's happened. Everybody tell Giddy his team lost 100-0. The Falcons beat the Bears 28-17. OFL Rams are the 20. I thought you meant at first they were the OFL 2019 Niners. I was going to say, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Beats. Beat up on the Saints. What is happening in Brooklyn? Are the Beats finally playing some good football? They win 40, albeit the Saints aren't very good, but 41-7 is 41-7. What is the other watch game? The other watch game, I think the Dolphins won our tiebreaker, so the Dolphins and Aviators, which is here in Week 12. And then the other 2 weeks, we're going to have the most picked games simcasted. The Bison lose to the Pioneers, so they didn't lose 66-14, unfortunately. Jerome Diggs, 4 touchdowns. Jeff Sims, 0. Saints, Seahawks, and Cardinals are everyone's personal punching bag. Remember when the Saints beat the Seahawks in the playoffs last year? That was fun. London. Dear God. So they went from not being able to play defense to not being able to play defense or offense. Do people really want to... I think we've only seen the Aviators once, or maybe twice. Yeah, no, I think it's twice. Okay, so I guess 3 watch games is kind of a lot. Justin Herbert, very good. Jordan Love, not very good, as you would expect based on the final score. 2 sacks for Jacoby McClain and Quentin Williams. The Broncos with a nice win over Jacksonville, 38-14. Although Andy Morrison wasn't even that good, surprisingly. But he did outplay Noah Syverson. David Montgomery scores 3 times. He had a big day. Jordan Love back to 49er form. 2 sacks for Shaquille Burke, despite losing. The Browns lose 38-21, so Cleveland's defense is still cheeks. Russell Wilson throws his first pick since week 1, and he is outperformed by Dan. What team is Trevor Lawrence on? He plays for the Tigers. Zeke ran well. IT Thomas over 4 yards a carry. That's something. Who caught the pick? Bryce Hall, recent acquisition from Toronto. And while we're at it, who caught the other interception? What? Russell Wilson threw a pick. It said he did. I guess whoever caught the pick got cut. That's funny. Does that mean Bryce Hall will also get cut soon? How many games? That's 5 in a row. Albeit against the Cardinals, Seahawks, and Saints. But 5 in a row is 5 in a row for the Bucs. Even if they beat the 3 worst teams in the league in that span. Derek Carr, 4 touchdowns. Trey Lance. Oh, Adam Collins. Oh, that makes a lot more sense. Because he got traded. Okay, that makes more sense. John Dinson is, in fact, him. Despite losing. Can you explain why a secondary of 4 85-plus corners is cheeks? The same reason why our secondary with 4 85-plus players was also cheeks. The Cardinals lost. The Chiefs won. Diablos had a bye. Dolphins won. Falcons won. Niners smothered them. Washington won. Niners lost. Giants won. Huskies lost. Jags lost. The Panthers barely escaped from the Jets 36-38. Wow, Elijah Chisholm, 4 touchdowns. Bryce Young was also quite good. If Greg Newsom was not in the deal, I would not have done it. Well, yeah, I mean, Greg Newsome was probably the best piece you guys got. Is that everybody? Yep. Next week, we get to see the playoff picture. Although, I guess we can count manually who's in the playoffs at the moment. Players of the week for week 11. Kyler Murray, the only time we're going to see him here this year. Joe Burrow, Jacoby McClain, and LaMarcus Matthews. Is that his name? Yeah, we played the Ravens, I think, this week. I didn't put us on the poll because we've watched us like 5 times now. Redo the game, though? Okay, yeah. So, well, we already see the other game that we were deciding between was week 11. No, it was week 13. Never mind, you're right. So, would you guys rather watch Aviators Dolphins this week or Giants Niners next week? If you want to watch Aviators Dolphins, type in swim. If you want to watch Giants Niners, type in L, because the Niners take L's in watch games. Since we have more people here, we can do a more accurate vote. Swim, L, anything but Aviators. I take that as L. L, swim, L, swim. Wow, this is close. L. 5-4 in favor of L. I guess I get a vote too. Who do I want to see? We've watched the Giants, we've watched the Niners, we've watched the Aviators, but we haven't watched the Dolphins. So I guess I'll vote swim. And the Niners are going to lose anyway. That's another vote for L. So 6-5 in favor of L. Swim. Okay, now we're tied. 6-6. If it remains tied, Siri will choose. Although, shouldn't the tiebreaker be a team who hasn't been seen? We'll see if Siri has morals, unless somebody comes in to break the tie. Alright, I'll give it 20 seconds. If nobody else has a vote, we will have Siri make up our choice. If you've already voted, don't vote again, because, I mean, you already voted. Unless if you're changing your vote, that's different. Alright, I guess we're letting Siri choose. Dolphins Aviators is 1, Niners and Giants is 2. And remember, the losing game will be simcasted, so don't be too down if your game doesn't win. Siri, give me a whole number between 1 and 2. 1. Alright, so we're watching the Aviators and the Dolphins. Let Tim Robinson choose. Siri, give me a whole number between 1 and 2. 2. So we're going to use her the Dolphins. The Niner game will be simcasted, and has anyone taken the lead in the Week 14 poll? Yes, the Aviators and Browns has, but we can see if that holds up before Week 14. If anything, this is good news for the Niners. Now you might have a chance to win. Alright, I don't think the Aviators coach is here, so I guess we can pick their jerseys, and C-Mill can pick the Dolphins jerseys. Alright, do we want light blue, or do we want black? Or not light blue, white. I'm stupid. Why did I think that was light blue? I guess because I was looking at the pants. Pick his first. Okay. Do you guys want to see them in black or white? Keep in mind, if we choose white, the Dolphins can't really wear white. Their black ones are cooler anyway, so my vote's for black. And yeah, the Dolphins have some pretty fire retro ones. So, I'm just saying, boom, boom. Black, yeah, black is clear. The Aviators' black jerseys are nice. Retro white. Okay, so what we already have here. All right, cool. Oh, I forgot. I get to see AJ Terrell this week. Woohoo. All right, Week 12, our second and final full watched game of the day. The 7-3 Dolphins face off against the, I think, 6-4 Columbus 8. I forgot to look at the standings now that I think about it. We'll do that after the game. We have 4 weeks to get through. We don't have to check the standings now. We get to see Aaron Rodgers against Matt Corral. What a quarterback matchup. Remember when Aaron Rodgers was the Niners quarterback? You can say that about just about any QB, and it applies. Remember that time when Aaron Rodgers torched the Niners to take them out of playoff contention? That was fun. A-Rod has not been MVP level this year, but he's been pretty good. I would say certainly a top, 12 quarterback in the league this year. Not too bad. Black Air Force energy for the Dolphins. I should have traded you A.J. Terrell. Would have literally given him Will. I also got Jair Alexander. I would rather Jair Alexander than Will Bryant. Although Will Bryant's pretty good, but Jair Alexander is a 99 overall corner. We don't need to remember that. I would have brought it up if your game had won. I would have mentioned your streak at some point. We get to see Christian McCaffrey in a watched game, which throughout OFL 22, Christian McCaffrey has not performed well in watched games. It's weird. Why do the really good receiving backs suck in watched games, but then you have I.T. Thomas who's really good in watched and bad in sim? It's weird. I don't get it. I told Mr. Rob to make a Will Bryant career sim. He blocked me. Good. For his sake, good. Common Mr. Rob W. McCaffrey's looking pretty good so far. They're counting that as a pass. Okay. You are not worse than the Cardinals or the Seahawks or the Saints. No, it is worse than them. Maybe the Jets. The Jets are in that ballpark too. Greg Dortch careers him. I love how Hector made us all aware of Dortch before he was actually like a thing. Opinions on this season, Greg Dortch. Apparently he's pretty good. Which was not something I expected 2 weeks ago, but he can play. I don't know what his role is going to be when DeAndre Hopkins comes back, but apparently he's pretty good. McCaffrey's gotten the ball like every play, and it's working. You're 1-6 in your last 5. The Cardinals are 1-9 in their last 10. So, yeah, it could. They're worse. Dortch is better than Rondale Moore. I mean, Rondale Moore hasn't dropped a pass this year. He also hasn't caught one, because I don't think he's played. Is Juju and Black hurt? That's a good question. Hey, EA, don't give me that glitch where I can't back out. Okay, good. Huh, that's weird. I made Juju the wide receiver, too. Is he in the slot? That would explain it. I think what happened was that it automated the slot, and since you, I guess, never mentioned who you want in the slot originally, normally I don't allow for depth chart changes, but since this is a small mistake, I'll let you put whoever you want in here. Fleming, okay. Boom. Alright, there we go. Greg Dortch is the second best receiver on my team. Better than Hollywood? I don't know if I'd go that far. Diop has the best. Diop does not have the best hands for any Cardinals receiver who's been on that team over the last 3 years. His hands are not better than Larry Fitz's. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Larry Fitz has more tackles than drops. Octi just broke his own. I made an exception because Madden sometimes automates the depth chart when you make moves, and C-Mill never specified who we now wanted in the slot. So if it's because of EA's shortcomings, then I allow for, flexibility. Right now in the NFL, okay, then maybe that's fair. Nice broken tackle for a touchdown. And the Dolphins are on the board. Who's number 5? I don't know, but he made a nice play. Prime Larry Fitz was like Larry Fitz's whole career. He never had like one or two signature seasons, but he was always just really, really, really good. Calvin clears, of course, but Larry Fitz is cool. Greg Dortch is better than GTA Boy. I mean, Hollywood did have that one drop in overtime. Although I guess they won, so it didn't really matter. And it wasn't really his fault that he dropped it. Here's Matt Corral leading out the Columbus offense. Non-biased, Larry Fitz is the best wide receiver of all time. Just cross out the word non, and then your answer might have some merit with it. But as good as Larry Fitz is, Calvin was better. No bias. Greg Dortch is the black Jesus. If you say Greg Dortch is the best receiver of all time, then maybe that's not a bad take, but I don't think Larry Fitz is. Was that Deron Harmon who had that hit? I didn't even know Deron Harmon played on the Raiders. I thought he was still in Atlanta. Ooh, a strip sack! And it's picked up by the Dolphins. And that's going to be a scoop and score. Or not, because Matt Corral's fast. Alante Snow, the rookie, picks it up. Who sacked him? Was that TJ Watt? No, that's not TJ Watt. Maybe Oliver? That was definitely a fumble. No need for a review. Simcast time. Let's not get crazy. It's the first quarter. Although Miami looks pretty good so far. You guys remember Patrick Chung? I do, former Duck. Was it work while the Cardinals came back and everybody paused for overtime in the last minute of regulation? Yeah, the end of that game had me on the seat of my chair, and I didn't even have a horse in the race. That was fun. Is it safe to say that Chet Mahone is a bust? No, it's week 12 of his first year. Preying on Matt Corral's downfall. DeAnthony Thomas is him. DeAnthony Thomas is probably my favorite college football player of all time. He was that dude. It's a shame he never really worked out in the NFL, although he bounced around for a few years. But DeAnthony Thomas was that dude. Please, Arizona beat Sanford. Begging Arizona to win is not a good idea. Because it's not going to happen. If they can't beat Seattle, I don't know if they're beating San Francisco. Trayvon Smith revenge game. Okay, that was a nice throw by Matty C. in the hands of Drake London to the 16. Devron Carrington is normal Dev. I literally checked when I was negotiating the trade yesterday. He is normal. I don't know where he got hidden from, but he has normal. Ooh, he almost caught that. Drake is Hall of Fame rebound chaser. Former near legend Drake London. Salt Lake City near legend. Third and 3. Matty C. Broken up. Good defense. So glad we beat the team who calls themselves the Nears. But, you know, the Buccaneers could do that. Instead of the Bucks, they could be the Nears. That would actually kind of make sense. Although the Bucks is obviously like 1,000 times better. Tyrod effect. QBs find their franchise quarterback after he leaves. Jack's effect. Quarterbacks become the reincarnation of Allah after he trades them. Well, Trayvon Smith hasn't been like that good. So, not in Trayvon Smith's case. Near country, let's ride. Matt Corral is the Dollar Tree sale quarterback. I guess literally because he's so cheap. Which I guess isn't a bad thing for the Aviators. I mean, the less money paid to him, the better. First quarter of the books. Good start for the Dolphins. They lead 14-3. The offense in their one real drive was good. They also had the big strip sack, which resulted in a touchdown. Feels like every game recently has been close. So it's weird seeing a game that's not close. Does that mean since Tyrod is a giant, Daniel Jones is going to turn into prime Joe Montana? I guess if that's how the rule works, although I guess Davis Mills hasn't been prime Joe Montana either, so maybe the streak kind of ended after Herbo. And Baker Mayfield hasn't been a franchise quarterback, so I guess he doesn't really count either. So maybe the Tyrod thing doesn't really work. Christian McCaffrey fantasy owners are pleased at the moment indeed. He's been a lot better than I expected. Maybe he just needed to be away from the Tigers, and now he can do good in watch games. Imagine if Tyrod was a Jet in 2018. Sam Darnold might not be seeing ghosts. Dolphins moving it again here. They've got a 3rd and 2. There's Christian McCaffrey again. Another 1.5 if you're playing, whatchamacallit? PPR, points per reception. Running backs in OFL fantasy must be so valuable, considering and watched they get so many catches. Yeah, that's true. If the OFL fantasy players know who's being watched each week, they know to start that running back, because they'll get like 9 catches. Remember when Ryan Fitzpatrick almost got the Jets in the playoffs? That was a fun time. Did I tell you the girl I shot my shot with rejected me? We'll put it this way. Would you rather be Ben Simmons, or would you rather be DeAndre Jordan? You decided to be DeAndre Jordan. Didn't work out, but at least you're not Ben Simmons. We'll have a deep dive into the next prospects. The first prospect profiles will be in the next episode. Hector can't be rejected, I don't... Well, Hector literally rejected himself by trading himself, so... I mean, he can. A-Rod is, in fact, dotting. Rate the school fantasy punishment. Loser has to sign up for the ROTC. I mean, that's one way to get everybody to try. Maybe we should do that in the servers. The loser has to do a punishment. So that way there aren't people who, like, stop after, like, week 3. Dolphins score equals simcast. We don't simcast in the first half. They do score, though. Another touchdown for Christian McCaffrey. Is Dorstrada decent? I have not touched the draft class yet. I have no clue. I have not taken a look at really the players, let alone started the draft class. So, I have no clue. We can do that in it might work better in Dynasty because everybody for sure is active. Although maybe not, because my team's not doing well and my 2 top picks are not being used. Because Nathaniel Hackett and Arthur Smith are hacks. Can we agree that I had the best fantasy team in League 2? I mean, I don't know who everybody has off the top of their head. Hell, since I have 4 leagues within the server, I don't even remember off the top of my head who I have in League 2. Is that the league where I drafted all the running backs with Eckler, Kamara, and Chubb? I think that's League 2. Yeah. Yeah, I have Amon-Ra, Mike Williams. I think that's the league where I have Russ. That's a pretty good team, shoot. I mean, with how Amon-Ra and Chubb have been. Loser has to go up to a girl and ask, would you finish it? Jesus Christ. That's horrible. Loser has to use light mode until next season. Oh, God. That's a bad one. That might be too far. I'll slide you a 5 if you make Dorstrada part of the series. I mean, if you created him, then he'll be in the class, so I guess, therefore, he'll be part of the series. Incomplete. That was 3rd down. Wow, this really is a blowout. The Dolphins are going to have the ball back up by 18. When is the last time we've had a simcast? Every game I feel like is so close, which is good. That means the sliders are doing their job. So clearly the Dolphins are legit, because the Aviators have performed pretty well in watch games throughout the season. Loser in Dynasty has to buy a shirt of their least favorite team. That's a good one. Although, I don't think I'd want to do that, which I guess is why it's good. Say jersey, but that's a lot of money. Yeah, no, I'm not spending $140 on an Aaron Rodgers jersey. I'm good. Do you think I should draft cornerback Sosa on the beat? If he has higher than like a B- man coverage, then yeah, sure. Loser has to trade their quarterback to Nickinator. Yes! That's golden. They have to take a picture with it and post it in the Dynasty chat. That would be golden. Yeah, if that was me and I was wearing a Packers jersey, you guys would not let me see the end of it, and rightfully so. Yeah, if we were to do that, then I would fly over to Atlanta, tell Arthur Smith to wake the hell up, then I would fly to Denver, I would fire Nathaniel Hackett into the sun, and then I would come home. And then I wouldn't get last. Loser has to go in the pool and close. Oh, dear. It has to be a cold pool, too. Are you still up for adopting me if I run away to Pennsylvania? If you make it here, then I guess. He would dress up as Hackett. Would I get a headset, a Broncos hat, like a Broncos collared shirt or something? Here's Julian Fleming. Is it about to be 28-3? Falcons fans, brace yourselves. Would have been cool to do regulation with the 2 leagues like they do in soccer. Regulation is in, like, what? Because I don't know soccer. Want you to rate me as a coach in the 5 seasons I've done. Well, considering the Pioneers have been consistently one of the best teams in the league, I would say you've done a pretty good job. Start shaving your head if you want to be like Hackett. Okay, I guess I gotta find a way to, like, have the hat cover my hair, which I guess would be pretty hard. But, I don't know, leave room in the back and have, like, a man bun that you can't find. I don't know. Loser has to go into D.C. and chew gum as loud as Pete Carroll for 2 hours. I like that one. That's a funny one. George Karlaftis with the sack. Think you're a good coach, you just have bad luck. I would agree with that. I mean, your roster's good, but Madden stays hating, I guess. 3rd and goal. Rodgers in the end zone. What a catch. And it is 28-3. Justin Ross is number 5. He had the first touchdown, which was also a really nice play by him. So unless the Aviators scored 2 touchdowns in 23 seconds, it looks like we'll be simcasting the second half. We'll watch the rest of the first half, but wow, what a blowout. Miami is legit. Loser has to write a 2-paragraph essay for each of their players on why they didn't do good. I would write a full 5-paragraph essay for Javonte and Pitts. That'd be easy. What if it's someone who did do good? Like, what if Garrett Wilson continues to be Justin Jefferson the rest of the year? Loser has to go up to one of their teachers and say ratio plus L plus bozo. That'd be funny. Loser has to suck me up. I'm good. I'm good on that. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm good. All right, so battle in the first half. We've got ourselves a blowout, 28-3. The Dolphins had the lead. Pitts is such a he was good at the end of last year, and he's so talented. So it was more so a long-term thing with picking him. I don't remember how many tight ends were on the board at the time, but since it's keeper, I'm keeping Kyle Pitts for however long we do it. I mean, I drafted a bunch of young guys in the long term, but I would hope Javonte and Pitts are, like, used because they're, good. All right, the Dolphins hold on. A pretty uneventful second half. They win at 38-17. So their first half lead was more than enough. Loser has to drop out of school. Jeez. That's a bad one. Aaron Rodgers was really good. Corral was fine. McCaffrey, I guess his yards per carry kind of went down in the second half, but he still played really well. Sam Laporta was good. He was really good in the Browns game a few weeks back. Gerald Everett or George Kittle? I mean, if George Kittle's playing, the answer's got to be George Kittle, right? Even if he's, not the best as a fantasy tight end consistently, I would still start him. Does Tim Robinson have a chance of beating the Panthers? I mean, I guess. Hard to tell how good of a sim quarterback he'll be. The Falcons. Oh, Atlanta's good. They're good. They beat the Bucs 38-7. Want to see Ball Docty? No, I'm good on that, Chief. The Bucs were on a 5-game win streak too, albeit it was a fraudulent 5-game win streak, but a win streak nonetheless. Both of these teams are right on Carolina's tail in the NFC South. Brian Burns 3 sacks, same amount of sacks he had in his entire Niners career. Washington with another win. They strengthened their lead in the NFC East. Did Herbo get hurt or something? Calvin Baker came in and was fine. Would you rather have OFL Week 18 Jacoby Brissett or prime Tom Brady? There are a lot of quarterbacks better than prime Tom Brady, just saying. We either won 40-39 or we lost by 80. The Niners beat the Cardinals 40-20. Trey Lance was very good. Trayvon Smith was not very good. Loser has to tell their parents they got a girl pregnant. That's a funny one, but the problem is, for half of us that wouldn't make sense. Why would our parents believe us? But if it made sense, it'd be funny. Wow, Khalil Lawrence, look at him. 4 for 167 and 2. Yeah, why would my parents believe me? I don't sneak out anywhere. I'm always, either home or they would know where I would be. If you're in a relationship that's different, they might actually believe you, but, why would mine believe me? Oh, we already saw this game. The Huskies lose to the Panthers 31-14. Bryce Young was not great, but he was better than Tim Robinson, who did not have a great game in the sim. Imagine I was a girl. Huh. Eric Armstead, 2 sacks. That's cool. The Jags beat the Chiefs 31-29. The Jags scored 21 in the third. The Chiefs scored 22 in the fourth. Maybe the Chiefs missed out on like a 2-point conversion to tie it or something. Noah Syverson was really good. Josh Allen was fine as well. Jahan Dotson with a big day. Tim Robinson is no longer him. Nickinator has more protection than Joe Burrow. That doesn't say a lot, though. I mean, Joe Burrow does not have much protection. I give the Bengals credit. They tried to improve the offensive line. It's not like the Colts when they had Andrew Luck and completely neglected it. Like, the Bengals actually did, on paper, a good job of rebuilding the offensive line. It's just that it hasn't worked. So, I wouldn't really panic if I was with Bengals. Did New England win this game? These two teams are both horrible. Yeah, New England won. I guess the Jets are more horrible. We lost because Jamison Crowder was not my RB1. I don't make depth chart changes in the middle of the stream unless it has to do with Madden being weird, like I did with the Dolphins and their slot receiver thing. Why didn't we simcast this? That's a good question. The Bears beat the Lions 38-35. Both QBs were good. Needed to pick up my wife from work. See how it wouldn't work for Denmark? Why would his parents be mad in that case? Although I guess Denmark isn't in the keeper league, so it wouldn't really matter. Madden was weird. Explain to me specifically how Madden was weird and how it affected you. The Tigers get back on the win column. They beat Salt Lake City 31-24. Trevor Lawrence was a lot better than it was last week. Jerome Diggs was fine. When is Jamison Williams coming back? I thought that was this week. Clearly not. The Rams lose to Seattle! The Seahawks are 2-0 today, guys. I think the world might be ending. Oh, God. The agenda is not pleased. We're just going to act like that didn't happen, and we're going to move on. Okay, enough with that. Yuck. Oh, even more yuck. The Ravens outscore us 16-0 in the fourth quarter to win the game. Dan outperformed Hector Estrada, who was not very good. At least Najee played well. Couldn't cover Emmett Barton. Nico Collins was great. I guess Michael Pittman's injury was actually kind of serious. It's nap time because the Rams are mid. New Orleans had a bye week. Closest game they're going to have all year. Hector, yeah, you missed a lot. Hector's on the Vikings now. The Browns beat Dublin. How many wins do we have? We are 5-7. We're pretty mid. Russell Wilson gets back to not throwing interceptions, whereas Lamar Jackson is not throwing any touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor, 212. And a loss. Nick Bosa, 2 sacks, picks for Trayvon Diggs, and Rocky Sen. Are we simcasting games? Weeks 13 and 14, we have 2 simcast games. But we already did the 2 watch games for the day. We have our bye week this week, and then ooh, the Bears. That's kind of an important game. Please win. What is going on in Orlando? They've lost 4 in a row. The Beats have scored like 50 points in each of the past 3 weeks. Joe Burrow has been on fire. Trevor Lawrence, not Trevor, why did I say Trevor Lawrence? Patrick Mahomes has been on fire throwing to the other team. I still trust the Wizards, but this is not good for them. Columbus, they obviously lost. The Black Knights still cannot play defense. They may never know how to play defense. My internet was so embarrassed that LA legit killed itself. I'd be embarrassed with LA too. The Rams are, I think, still in first place, but that's horrendous. Losing to Seattle? Ugh. The Bears, they won. The Beats won. The Bison had a bye week. Oh, we didn't see that game. The Diablos beat the Broncos 24-21. Two pretty good teams, but unfortunately for them, there are two better teams in their division. Browns we saw, Bucks we saw, Cardinals we saw, Chiefs we... Did we see the Chiefs? Yeah, we did. Diablos we saw, and that brings us back to the Dolphins. I feel like the games is going to get fed up of losing out of nowhere and start spamming racial slurs. Let's hope not, ideally. Why did Jonathan Taylor turn into OFL 20 Todd Gurley? OFL 20 Todd Gurley was Timothy. Players of the week, Trey Lance, Joe. Did he win it last week? Yes, he did. He might have won it the week before. No, he didn't. But still, 2 weeks in a row, pretty good. Jamie and Sherwood, and Jonathan Abram. I won't forget to do standings this time. So here we go. Has anybody clinched? No. That would make sense. Wow, Carolina's only lost 2 games. So the Browns still lead the North. They still have the MVP. Enough said. The Ravens are making some noise, though. They've won 3 in a row. All 3 of these teams are very much alive in the wild card race. The Tigers are in first place in the South with the Wizards' self-destruction. Bison are still in it. Jags maybe. In the AFC East, the Dolphins still are in command of first place, but the Beats are playing a lot better. They've won 3 in a row, all of which in dominant fashion. So Brooklyn might be figuring some things out. These 2 teams not so much. Then in the West, Pioneers and Chiefs at 7-4. Diablos are only 1 game back. In the North, the Bears are in first place. They have a nice little lead over Toronto and Minnesota. The Lions have lost 4 in a row and are kind of falling out of the race. NFC South is very competitive. 3-way race between the Panthers, Falcons, and Bucks. Washington leads the East by 2 games. Rams still lead the West, although they lost somehow to the Seahawks. The Seahawks. All right, so we're going to simcast the Giants and the Niners here for Week 13. Siri, give me a number between 1 and 2. Siri, give me a number between 1 and 2. 2. I think that's the Niners. Yes, Hector traded himself to his rival. I know, ironic. I think the Niners are home. Oh, we can see the playoff picture now. That's right. Hold on. Hold on. All right, who we got? Bam! If your team is in the playoffs, you're not cool. Any surprises here? Carolina and Cleveland is the 1 seed. This would be a really good game. All 3 of these would be fun. The AFC is definitely better than the NFC. Put it that way. A lot of surprises in the NFC. I mean, the Panthers, they made it last year. I think the Panthers were the only team here who made the playoffs last year. Right? Yeah. Yeah, that's something. Whereas here, all of these teams have been playoff teams within the last 2 years. So the AFC has been just a bunch of heavyweights fighting it out, and the NFC is like... Oh, no, hold on. The NFC is like just a bunch of mid. All right, since it's a simcast game, the jerseys don't really matter, but we can still pick jerseys, I guess. Rams won the Super Bowl against the... That's the real Super Bowl. I'm talking about the OFL playoffs, silly. Give me all red. Which ones are the all red ones? Are there any specific all red ones? Do they have red pants anywhere? I don't know if they have red pants. They have yellow pants, or gold, I guess. Yeah, I don't think they have red pants. Unless I'm missing something. That's not pants. They have black. Yeah, I don't think they have any red pants. As for the Giants, can't go wrong with the classic alternates, right? Red with the black pants. Okay. All right, the Niners may be 0-10 in watched games, but this technically is not a watched game since we are simcasting it. So maybe the Niners actually have a chance to win. Both teams right at the edge of one of those wild card spots in the NFC. Can both of these teams lose, please? The Niners are currently the 7th seed. The Giants are just on the cusp outside. So both of these teams kind of need to win here. And the Giants are looking good. Niners at a field goal. Yeah, this is kind of turning into a blowout. New York is dominating. They are dominating. Dominating. Niners score a touchdown at the buzzer to lose by 20. Those weren't even the right jerseys for the Giants, but who cares? They won the game. Red against red. Huh. Trey Lance, 4 interceptions. Mac Jones, 3 touchdowns. Saquon, in his first game back, runs for 3 touchdowns and then gets hurt. Jesus Christ. Colt Riggs and John Vincent, the gritty, sneaky, athletic, first guy in, last guy out type of guy your daughter would date, wide receiver duo combined for 271. No, wait, no, that'd be 269. They're the type of guys who I wouldn't mind doing 69 with my daughter. Defensively, who would all be picks? Bradley Chubb, 4 tackles for loss. Joe Juwan Williams, Rashaan Evans, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and Minka Fitzpatrick. Chris Paul hits huge 3 to cut the lead to 42. That's pretty much what that play was. All right, time to sim. Your team can't disappoint you when they don't play. The Huskies. The Tim Robinson era has not gotten off to a great start, as they are 0-3 since the trade. Herbo outperformed Robinson, although Tim Robinson was better than he was last week. You aren't old enough to have a daughter be 69. It's a joke. Jimmy Jackson was the leading receiver. Start Jacoby. Again, unless Madden is at fault, depth chart changes are in between streams. The Diablos have a big win over Jacksonville, 42-14. Baker Mayfield, 4 touchdowns. Noah Syverson, 0. Derrick Henry was good at least. Three sacks for Melvin Shepard. With all due respect, who is Melvin Shepard? The Jets get smothered by the Browns, as they should, 44-10. Cleveland's defense actually showed up. As for the offense, Russell Wilson played like typical Russell Wilson. Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy, the Alabama boys with over 100 each. Nick Bosa, 2 sacks. JOK with a pick. Now he's going to ask for $220 million. The Lions keep on losing. They lose to the Rams, so LA gets vengeance after losing to Seattle. DJ Uiagalelei played a lot better. Thank you, DJ, for helping out the narrative. I appreciate it. Deshaun Watson, 231-2. The Panthers remain with the best record in the league. They're the first team to 10 wins. They might be close to at least clinching a playoff spot. Probably not the division, because the NFC South is very close. But they could be close to clinching a wild card spot, especially with the lack of depth in the NFC, at least compared to the other conference we have. Why do I never said DJ was the next Cam. DJ's not as fast as Cam. Got to be mobile to be Cam. I don't know when I ever said he was going to be Cam Newton. Oh, so the fun in Brooklyn is kind of taking a pause. They lose to New England. Remember when Carolina lost to Arizona? That's still funny. Demaryius Johnson was good, as was Joe Burrow. Yeah, how the hell did Carolina lose to Arizona? The best team in the league lost to the worst team in the league. I said that when would I have said DJ's Cam Newton? DJ's not fast. I mean, he's built like Cam Newton physically, if you look at his size and his arm, but he doesn't have Cam's mobility, that's for sure. The Pioneers, whoa, 42-10. Talk about a statement win over the Chiefs. Did they beat Kansas City early in the year? They did. So not only is Salt Lake City a game ahead of the Chiefs, but they also own the head-to-head tiebreaker, which is a big deal. Last year, I think the Pioneers lost the division because of the head-to-head tiebreaker. So now, that may be the other way around. No matter what happens in Week 14, Salt Lake City will have first place of the division. The Rams won. The Ravens had a bye week. The Saints beat the Cardinals. I was about to say, how did the Saints win? But then I see who they faced off against, and it makes a lot more sense. So Arizona's now 1-12, 1-11. Their playoff chances, if they were not already officially dead, are officially dead. Seattle, on the other hand, I guess could still run the table. Oh, okay, they had a bye week. I saw their last game they won. I was so confused for a second. The Aviators beat the Shamrocks 26-21. Dublin will remain in last place of the division, although Lamar was better than Corral. Dublin has won one game since week 4. They were supposed to be like the Huskies of last year, and they just haven't been. One win since week 4. Look at the scores. Their defense is so horrible, other than this game. Oh, they beat the Aviators. I'm blind. Forget what I just said. Good win for Dublin. I'm stupid. Okay, then. The Tigers lose to the Wizards. Wow, Orlando finally wins, although Chicago nearly came back at the end. Patrick Mahomes played a lot better. Yeah, Orlando needed this win bad. That's big. Jaden Jackson played well. You guys just won. Although apparently I didn't think so, but you guys just won. The Aviators are kind of falling off a little bit. They've lost, I think, 4 of 5. Right? Yep. 4 of 5 after starting like 5-2. The Bears beat the Bats. Not good. We need Bears losses. Well, I guess our division chances are kind of dead. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter what the Bears do at this point for us. Dak was better than Carson Strong, though. Obviously, the Bears won. The Beats lost. The Broncos barely beat Oklahoma City 31-28. Andy Morrison, 3 touchdowns. Jeff Sims, also 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Don't worry, Columbus. Matt Corral turns into prime Peyton Manning against us. London had a bye week, and they still allowed 50 points to the bye. Denver won. Browns won. Bucks lost. Cardinals lost. Chiefs got killed. Diablos won. They've won a few in a row. Yeah, 3 in a row. The Dolphins have also won 3 in a row since the bye week. Including beating the Falcons. How did I miss that? I'm stupid. The Dolphins beat the Falcons 34-13. So Miami is very much legit, as they beat a very good Falcons team. So the Dolphins extend their lead in the division, and Atlanta falls another game behind Carolina. Good week to be a Panther fan, I guess. Who did we use? We used the Niners. Did we see who Washington's game? Yeah, we did. The Rams won, so no bloodshed there. Players of the week: Macaroni and Cheese, Baker Mayfield, Peterson, who, and that Melvin Shepard guy, is that his name? Melvin? With 3 sacks. Let's look at the standings. Nobody's clinched yet. Or in other words, Carolina hasn't clinched yet. The Browns still lead the North. Pretty good week for them, I guess. They're pretty close to clinching this division. They're not too far off. If they beat the Aviators this week, they're pretty much set. The Wizards are back in first place after beating the Tigers. They had the same record, but I think the Wizards had the head-to-head. Dolphins extend the lead in the East to 4 games. They're close to clinching this division really soon, maybe today. The Pioneers are a game ahead of the Chiefs and Diablos. The Bears have a very strong lead in the North. So, yeah, our division chances are about dead. So we're hoping for a wild card spot at this point. Carolina with a nice day as they win, and the Falcons and Bucks both lose. Washington still a game ahead of the East. Rams are a game and a half over San Francisco. Who hasn't had their bye week yet? The Niners and who else? Dublin. Are those the only 2 teams with byes this week? Yep, and then after that, we're done with bye weeks. We can go through team stats at the end. All right, week 14. We are simcasted, I think, for Browns and Aviators. Yep. Siri, give me a whole number between 1 and 2. 1. So that is Columbus. It's been a rough day for the Aviators, and they need to win in order to stay alive. We'll do injuries. We'll do all that stuff at the end. Brown on orange. And then the Aviators aren't here, so I guess we might have to go with white because brown is kind of dark. So, in the case that we do have to watch this game at any point, brown on orange is actually kind of clean, not gonna lie. We're not watching the Aviators, we're simcasting the Aviators. There's a difference. All right, Cleveland essentially clinches the division with a win. They'll probably still win the division with a loss, but, I mean, at this point, the Browns are playing for seeding, so they still need all the wins they can get, although the Aviators are not looking too bad. Cleveland up by 6, now up by 3. Columbus is playing a good game. Now they tie it. Now they take the lead. We're going to go slower. Cleveland has it on the goal line. And they score. Tommy Tremble ties it up at 27. Aviators are quickly marching down the field. They score a touchdown. We're going to hop in. I did not mean to send that first play, but Russ gets 30 to Devontae Smith. 34-27 with 4 minutes to go. Can Columbus finish it off? That should have been picked. Russell Wilson has another interception today. Seems like Russ has come back down to earth a little bit. Still the MVP. Don't get it twisted, but was last season for you a fluke? I guess it could have been, considering you guys are under 500 this year. Nice play after the catch. Is that Tommy Tremble again? No, it's Stratton. Couldn't tell you who that is. Nice play by George Karlaftis. 2nd and long. If I'm Cleveland, I don't know if I try to score quickly or take time off the clock. I don't really trust Cleveland's defense. Why would I? So I would try to choose some clock if I can. Obviously, priority number 1 is scoring. A touchdown. Russ has the entire millennium to throw. Look at Jalen Waddle. Great play after the catch. And that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning. They should run the ball and try to chew clock. Don't let the Aviators get time to score and bring it to overtime. What if I'm losing because I haven't changed my playbook in 5 decades? Oh, it's picked off in the end zone! Oh! No chewing clock now. C.J. Henderson picks it off. Now all they got to do is run the clock out. Russell Wilson matches his interception total for the season today with 2. Nice hit. Is that Owusu Koromoa? I saw a 2 as the first number. I don't know who else wearing 28 would be in the backfield that quick. That guy Urban Meyer hates Henderson. That means CJ Henderson's going to be an All-Pro. Very good run by Dontavius Brown. He gets about 11. Thursday Night Football Herbert vibes, minus the pick 6 part. 3rd and 3, ball game on the line. Back to Brown. He got it. And the Aviators upset Cleveland. A huge win for Toronto. Not Toronto. Where did I get Toronto from? A huge win from Columbus, who has lost 4 of 5 and needed to get back on the win column, and that they do. Cleveland's still probably the ones. Maybe not. Cleveland has 9 wins. How many wins do the Dolphins have? Do they have 8 or 9? They might be tied. Matt Corral, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Russ with 3 and 2. Dontavius Brown, not the best, but he won the game for them, and he had more yards than I.T. Thomas. Jalen Waddle, Sam Laporta is him. And Rondale Moore with over 100 each. 2 sacks for Christian Barmore. Interceptions. C.J. Henderson had the game winner, along with Alex Beltran, Jamal Adams, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, and Carlton Davis. Y'all see the Dan Orlovsky fart? Didn't he try to cover it up and did like a horrible job? That was funny. Probably the most entertaining thing that happened in that game. Alright, let's see what happened around the rest of the league. The Bats lose to the Giants. So New York is playing like they want a playoff spot. The Giants have had a good stream today. They might have gone 4-0. Either 4-0 or 3-1. They've had a good day. Did Saquon get hurt again? For the love of God! And Zonovan Knight balled out. Saquon is like a walking injury. That's like the 3rd time he's gotten hurt this year. That's the 2nd time he's gotten injured in the last like 20 minutes. Yay! We won! 36-21 over the Bears. Chicago was up 14-0 after the first, and we outscored them 36-7 after that. Wow. Carson Strong and Hector played about equally. Did you get storms in your area? Not really. The weather has been, like, unbelievably good the past, like, week. It's been great. Mid to high 70s. Pretty sunny the past few days. It's been, like, golden. The Beats get back to beating their opponents. Wow, they beat Carolina 35-17. That's a big win for Brooklyn. Good stream for the Beats. And Carolina, I guess. Both of them went 3-1. Spreading the positivity. 3 of our 4 losses have come to Matt Corral. That's funny. Matt Corral owns the Browns. Just hope you don't play the Aviators in the playoffs, and then maybe you'll make the conference finals. The Bison lose to the Rams. Ooh, they kept it close. Game went to overtime, but they did not get the job done. DJ Uiagalelei outperforms Jeff Sims, just like in the game that they played against each other in real life to start the college football season. Alvin Kamara was a beast. Octi is 6-7, barely out of the wild card spot. Yeah, the NFC is weak. There's a real shot we get in. Do you think the Lions will beat the Vikings on Sunday? I mean, it's possible. I wouldn't be, put it this way, I wouldn't be surprised if we win, but if I were to bet on it, I would probably say no, because Minnesota's coming off a bad loss. They're coming back home, and they're a better team, so they should win. Oh, the Black Knights beat Washington. That's kind of a surprise. Jordan Love and Justin Herbert played about equally. Jeff Sims is out of here this offseason. I mean, he do be cheeks. And there's probably going to be at least a couple of good quarterbacks in free agency. Malik Willis. The Broncos dropped 49 on the Diablos. Jeff Sims, you are a 49er. Eddie Morrison and Baker Mayfield with 3 touchdowns apiece. This is a big win for Denver. Their playoff chances are kind of looking a little bit slim. They get a win over a team who's, I think, currently in. The Browns lost. The Bucks lost to the Jags by 1. Both QBs were I guess. Derrick Henry only had 9 carries, but he had 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. A very DeAndre Swift-esque stat line. Did you win? You guys did win. You guys had a good stream today. You guys played well. Should position yourselves for another playoff spot. The Cardinals had a bye week, and they probably still found a way to lose. The Chiefs have lost 3 in a row as they lose to the Tigers 34-31. Both QBs were very good. The Diablos lost. The Dolphins won again. That's 4 in a row. The Dolphins went 4-0 in this stream. So I think they're now the #1 overall seed, right? I think this is their 10th win, so they would pass Cleveland, who only has 9. CMC was very good. Traylon Burks with a nice day, despite losing. Wait, what was the score? 24-31. New Orleans kept it close. The Saints probably covered. So, that's cool. Good teams win, great teams cover. The Saints must be pretty great. The Falcons beat the Seahawks 30-14. Brady Boatwell outperforms Kyler Murray. Tyler Davis, 2 sacks. The Washington football team, they lost. We already know that. Niners in a bye week. Giants won. 0-4. Not a good day to be a Husky fan. They got outscored 21-0 in the second half. Maybe Hector shouldn't have traded Hector. Deshaun Watson was pretty solid. Tim Robinson was mid. I mean, he wasn't bad. Travis Etienne scores I didn't even know they had Travis Etienne, to be honest. Jimmy Jackson was good at least. But the Huskies are not looking good. They might go from best to, maybe not worst, but best to out of the playoffs. Maybe you shouldn't have traded the defending MVP. I mean, it's not like Hector was that good today, though. I mean, he wasn't bad. Oh, the Jets had a bye week, too. Okay. The Pioneers beat New England 27-7. Jerome Diggs was okay. He was better than Demaryius Johnson, which I guess doesn't say much because Demaryius Johnson isn't very good. 3 sacks for Tank Lawrence. Ooh, the Ravens with a really strong fight against Orlando going into overtime, but they lose to the Wizards 48-45. A lot of offense. Dan with 4 touchdowns. Mahomes said, what you can do, I can do better. He threw for 5, along with 514 yards. Who's going to win Player of the Week? Probably Mahomes, because his team won. Tyreek Hill, Devontae Parker, Nick Boyle, and Hudson Henry with all over 100 yards. So, I was right to not panic about the Wizards. They went through a little down spur, but they're fine. Who did we use her again? I think we used her the Aviators. Yeah. All right. Cool. Players of the Week. Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, Zach Carter. I think that'd be Zach Carter. And Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Are you in trouble at 6-7? Put it this way. I would rather be 6-7 in the NFC right now than the AFC. So, probably. AFC North, the Browns are only ahead by 2 games now. Big win by Columbus. The Browns pretty much would have clinched with a win. The Wizards and Tigers both win. They still remain tied in the South. Dolphins with a win or beats loss will officially clinch the East. The Pioneers are now 2 games ahead in the West. Salt Lake City should win this division, but it's not a lock. NFC North, the Vikings bring Chicago's lead down to 2. The Vikings are now in second place. We're on the come up, fellas. NFC South, Carolina's lead cut to 1 with the Falcons. Washington's lead in the NFC East is cut to 1 with the Giants. And the Rams are now ahead by, what would that be, 2.5 games over the Niners. Can the next stream be Friday or Saturday? I wouldn't count on it. Put it that way. Here's your... I thought the type of Browns were 7 for a second. I was like, what? But, yeah, were there any major changes from last week? I don't think so. These look like the same teams, but just in a different order. Why don't we look at some of the teams who are right on the edge of the wild card spots? Because those 2 races in both conferences are very competitive. So, is this the top 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the Aviators at 7 and 6 are barely out. The Ravens, Shamrocks, Broncos, and Beats are all very close as well. Bison and Jags are on the outside looking in, but they're not completely out of it, whereas these 2 teams are. In the NFC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the Bucks and Niners are tied for the last spot. The Vikings are a game back. The Bats, Lions, and Huskies are on the outside looking in, and these teams are in the cellar. All right, let's check injuries. We went through 4 weeks today, so we probably are going to see quite a few. Desmond Evans, broken hand. Darrell Henderson, broken collarbone. David Montgomery, pulled groin. Christian Darrisaw, partial ACL tear. Injuries are ruthless so far. Budda Baker, dislocated ankle. Saquon Barkley, broken toe. This man is literally made of glass this year, and it's unfortunate because he's been so good this year. Fred Warner, oh, that's not new. I love how 10 teams in a row have no injuries, including us. So Michael Pittman's good? Okay. All right, we'll take a look at the team stats first. Here's total offensive yardage. Well, Dublin is second. We'll do yardage and we'll do points for both offense and defense. I love how the Panthers are like 20th. Highest scoring offense is the Beats, who are under 500. Football. Wow, the Diablos are third. Wow. The Ravens are at the top as well. So you're going to tell me the Panthers are like 25th? You're at the bottom. Who is last? The Seahawks. Oh, obviously. Why wouldn't it be them? And then defense. Carolina is the best defense in the league by far. I mean, that would make sense if their offense is below average, and yet they'd be like 10-3. The Dolphins have the second best defense. So clearly the key is, if you want to be good, you got to have a good defense. All of these teams at the top are, then you have Dublin. Dublin's like really good, both offense and defensive yardage, yet they're under 500. New England is pretty high as well. That's a surprise. Any good teams towards the bottom? The Browns are kind of low. Pretty much you need to be good. You need your defense to be good, unless you have the MVP at quarterback. The Black Knights have allowed the most amount of points. That's not really a surprise. Who's allowed the least amount of points? The football team. We'll check the turnover differential as well. The Seahawks had the highest turnover differential. In what world? I guess they just don't turn the ball over on offense. I guess they just punt all the time. Like, what? Who would have seen that coming? The Panthers have -5. What? The Rams have -5. The Wizards have negatives. I guess Patrick Mahomes is throwing a lot of picks. Wow, the Niners are -7. All right, let's look at player stats. Does Russ have, like, the Triple Crown? Most yards, most touchdowns. Does he have the least amount of interceptions among starters? Tied. So Russell Wilson has the QB Triple Crown. He has, obviously, the highest passer rating among starters. After him, we have Joe Burrow. Burrow's a legitimate MVP candidate at this point. He has carried them. Even if they're under 500, he's kind of carried them. Mac is third. Then we have Hector, T-Law, Diggs. I'm surprised he's that high. He's had some mad games this year. Lamar, Dan, Lance, Morrison, Rodgers, and Allen. Then as we get closer to the bottom, under 100, we have Dak, Chisholm. I'm surprised he's this high up. Kyler, Trayvon Smith, Syverson, Sims, Stroud, and Demaryius Johnson. Nobody's worse than Demaryius Johnson. Joe Mixon is currently the rushing king by a lot. Jonathan Taylor is in second. Huh. We'll go up to like 800. All right, receiving. We'll start with receptions. Michael Thomas is in first with 90. We'll go to 65. Yards. Michael Thomas again in first with 1,200. We'll go to about 800. I didn't realize this many guys had 800. Touchdowns. Tyreek Hill has 16. That's a lot. Jamar Chase, Isaiah Likely, Jarvis Landry, Jadon Hasselwood, and Will Disley are also in the double figures. That's an interesting group of players. We'll go up to 8. Who was allowed the most amount of sacks? I don't know. Mekhi Becton and Trevor Penning. Defense, we'll do that by conference. Tackles for loss in the AFC is DeForest Buckner and Cameron Thomas. Sacks, 18 at... Holy hell, he is 18 and a half? He had at least 1.5 sacks every game today. Oh, that'll do. Montez Sweat. What is Montez Sweat's rating? 92. Good for him. Bosa, Watt, and Burke also in the double figures. We'll go up to like 7. Interceptions. 4 for Marlon Humphrey, Deion Jones, and Denzel Ward. Fumble forces 2 for Eli Ricks and Jabril Peppers. Ricks with 2 fumble recoveries. In the NFC, TFLs, 19 for Doug Costin, who has 1 sack. Aaron Donald also has 19 with 12. Pretty big difference. Brian Burns, 17 sacks. What an odd career arc. 6, 12, 5, 17. Shaq Barrett is next with 12.5. Also in the double figures, we have Donald, Chubb, Smith, and that's it. Where's Myles Garrett? He's been kind of bad. 5 TFL, 7 sacks, and it's not like he's been hurt. What's the deal, Myles? 5 interceptions for Devin Bush. Fumble forces, 2 for Tre'Davious White and Kyle Duggar. How many perfect kickers we got? J.J. Glanville, Josh Lambo, Mitchell Westbrook, and Chris Boswell. You should let Garrett go. I'm good. I'll pass. The worst kicker, Joshua Fry, in relations to Joey Sly by chance. The Seahawks have punted it the most times, and in other news, the sky is blue. We've punted it the least with Cleveland. Any more kick return touchdowns? Christian Mullins, Tyreek Hill, and Brandon Boyle. Who does Madden have winning the awards? Obviously, Russ is the MVP. No real question about it. How come you're not the coach of the year because of last year's standings? Because Madden is stupid. That's why. You're not even in the top 10? Yeah, Madden stays being dumb. But this is why we have our own awards, and we can vote ourselves. Because Madden is not the brightest. Hector is second for Offensive Player of the Year in the NFC behind Nick Chubb. Brian Burns gives me pain. Josh Jobe is the best defensive back. That's something. All right, we'll take a look at the schedule, and then I think that is it. So we're in week 15, correct? Yes. So we have 4 more weeks of a regular season. Obviously, I like to do the last week on its own. So because of that, we are going to get through 3 weeks in the next episode. I might as well show the week 8. Ooh, I can't put any Vikings games on the poll, though. I kind of want to see that game. Have we watched the Pioneers once this year? I don't know if we have. We probably should, because they're pretty good. Am I allowed to break my own rules? This is a good game, as is this. And then here's week 18, which will be the following stream. Browns-Tigers might be must-watch. That's definitely one of the bigger rivalries in the league. And 2 very good teams. When is the last time Nick and Jax have both been, like, this good? To where they're both at, like, the very top. Has Jax ever beaten Nick? So, like, it's like watching the Niners. It's like, what's the point? Because we know what's going to happen. But all right, that's going to wrap up the stream. Certainly a long one. We got through 4 full weeks of OFL football. I don't think we have to cover anything else. We did standings, injuries, stats, schedule. So I'm not entirely sure the next stream will be. But, yeah. 2 more regular season streams, and it will be on to the playoffs. Hope everybody enjoyed. We'll be back at some point. I don't know. But, like,